All right, y'all, we're back with another update on the David situation, man. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more disgusting, man, this guy was deranged beyond comprehension. Let's get right into it. Hellious Sin brought us this one today. David is sicker than we thought.
Where you at, Berto?
We got the preliminary hearing documents for the David case. And we already are starting off with some conflicting statements from what the prosecution is saying happened and from what a private investigator is saying happened. So first, we're going to start off with the background facts and what the prosecution was saying. And they said that the dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste was discovered in front trunk of the Tesla on September 8th. That's when the body was discovered. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior. And this was parked 400 feet from the defendant. The defendant is David Burke at 1368 Hollywood Hills. Surveillance video and other evidence confirmed defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29, 2025 before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. So on July 29th, they're saying that David was the one driving the car. Now, Steve Fisher, this guy that's been doing a lot of investigative work on this case, he disagrees. And he says, now that the prosecution has released a briefing for the preliminary hearing in the David case, we are releasing the surveillance footage of the Tesla being moved on July 29th. The driver is lighter skinned with long hair wearing a red jersey. And it shows this video clip, which is the Tesla. It looks like it. And then he freeze frames it and you can see some red. And people are suggesting that this is Neo the Asian, the guy that was very close friends with David, but also the guy that was arrested briefly a couple of months ago and then released. And he was arrested.
Did he know though? Did he know though? Oh my God. This is crazy.
I don't even think he was charged with anything. So that was very odd. And people are pulling up the fact that this guy was wearing a red jersey on an Instagram post that he released on July 28th. So that one was, well, actually, no, the photo was taken by somebody that posted it on July 28th by this. And then also David would respond to this, talking about now this is aura. This is crazy because this was months after this guy caught a body. Now, sometimes editing photos takes a day or two. Are they going to post it right away? I don't know. But One of the odd things is that this isn't conclusive enough, man. Like, you don't even see the skin color of the individual.
Yeah.
The window is turned down, and it could just be artifacts in something that is this low resolution. But, hey, that we already got some dispute there. So it says the manager of the tow yard smelled decay and flies coming from the vehicle. So he called the LAPD. LAPD showed up. And here it says, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined the victim and defendant met in January 2022 when she was 11 years old. And then they began engaging in a sexual relationship in 2023. So it was about a year and a half. The victim was 13 and defendant was 18. So they likely met before David even showed up to LA. And then detectives learned the victim had been reported missing by her family in February and April 2024. So between November 2023 and February of 2024, she was not reported missing. So presumably she was with her family then. So that's 5 months later. And then they also, the first time they met was, or the first time they engaged in sexual activity was November of 2023.
My God.
And here it says that they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him, and that is David. During the call, defendant David claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th, 2024. That is Valentine's Day. Yep. But stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. RCSD advised him that Los Angeles Sheriff's Department would be coming to his home. On that day, defendant was living at address in West Hollywood and requested that the LASD conduct a welfare check at the defendant's home. So LA deputies went to the defendant's home that night at 8:15 and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. David again claimed he was unaware she was a minor, and he had only met the victim once in person in November of 2023.
So you're telling me you met a 13-year-old and you couldn't tell that she was 13? Man, watch the fuck out, bro. That is probably... I know in 2026, we are in the era of people looking a lot older than their age, bro. But you're telling me you met a 13-year-old girl and you could not tell that she was a minor, bro? I'm not buying it. I don't care. I don't care. We seen pictures of Celeste, gang. She looks fucking 13, gang. Stop it.
However, David showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. A yearbook photo. What is that, 8th grade? The girl didn't even graduate 8th grade. So if she had a yearbook, it had to be from the 5th grade. So this guy, this continuously gets worse because he met her online when she was 11. So the only yearbook photo she had at that point is the 5th grade yearbook. So this guy's got a 5th grade yearbook photo of her on his phone. I don't care if he was 17 or he's underage. 17 and
that's what I'm
5th
saying.
grade?
That's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't make sense. There's no way you meet a 13-year-old girl. You're looking at her. You're talking to her. You're hearing her voice, and you're thinking to yourself, I wasn't sure if she... Like, bro, watch out, bro. But the thing is, I shouldn't even be getting this flustered because we know what it is. He didn't care that she was a minor. He didn't give not a singular fuck.
This is psychotic. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. And this is somewhat believable because they seemingly had a quote-unquote toxic relationship, if you even want to call it that.
Toxic relationship.
Despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, defendant continued to pursue her. So here they're painting the story. They're saying, hey, look, these guys came to his house. They told him, hey, look, this girl's missing. This is who the girl is. They know that he had a photo of her. He knows that the police are aware of this situation. And he continues to chase this girl. So this guy had the opportunity. And this is what I said earlier. I was like, man, I thought he just knew ahead
of... The thing that is starting to slowly unravel itself is not only is this guy a PDF file, a murderer, a psychopath, but he's actually dumb as fuck too, bro. Because the things that he was doing, I'm almost starting to feel as if he only got away with it so long because of how actually dumb he was. Like, it's almost like this looked like it potentially could have slid under the radar because of how he had the audacity to do stupid shit. It's like people were looking at the situation and it was probably just going over their heads. I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody that was potentially involved, but I'm just, again, just me being me, I'm just trying to rationalize this. How did this just go on for so long? And the moves that he was making were so stupid. Like, literally, again, I am not trying to make light of the situation in any way, shape, or form, but I can't help but to be like, what is the thought process here? Is he trying to hide it? Is he trying to be sneaky? It's like, what were you doing? We already know that he was a PDF file, murders, all that stuff, but it's just like, what is the thought process here? The moves that you were making were sloppy, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, how did he get away with this for so long? Now, there's the whole argument that the people that around him just didn't care. He's just, surrounded by disgusting yes men that were just, hey, bro, this guy's a popping artist. He's making money. We don't give a fuck what he's doing as long as we get a piece of the pie. There's that too. But I'd like to be hopefully a little optimistic that everybody's not a sick, evil fuck.
Like, he had so many different opportunities, which is him blowing up, him meeting her in person. If there were just messages, his lawyers would be able to handle the situation. Even if it was like, oh, he's 18 and he's talking to a 13-year-old.
So I'm saying, bro, he's literally just, not only is he a murdering PDF file, he's a dumb murdering PDF file.
They would figure out some way to make sure that his music career continued. Or at the very least, that's some way to make sure that his music career continued, whether they suppressed it, all that stuff. But it got to a point where police showed up and he still thought to himself, yeah, you know what, let me stay involved with this chick, which just goes to show that he is twisted.
Yeah.
So after the victim returned home in February, her parents took her cell phone away. And then David drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student. That's the video clip that we saw that we've been seeing for the past 6 months. In the victim's class, $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so they could stay in contact. Dog, if this isn't grooming, I don't know what is. The chick makes it back home. The little girl makes it back home. They take
He was
away
going above and beyond. He was obsessed with this girl. Bro, this is crazy.
phone. The parents take away her phone. The parents are trying to do their job.
Yeah.
And then this guy finds, because what we initially thought was that people were blackmailing Dave and say, yo, we're going to expose this. You better pay us. But they're saying here that he paid the kids $1,000 to give her a cell phone so that he could continue talking to her. So he's telling the kids, and at this point, if you're the kids, you know that he's still talking to her. So you got another set
I'm telling you, this is what, like, bro, it's like so many people knew about it. There was evidence, bleeding through. We see clips of them live streaming together. Like, the shit was happening in front of our faces in such a way that I literally feel as if, obviously it's not right, but it's like people were just not even realizing because of how stupid. It's like the audacity. This nigga's like dancing in our faces like, hey, look at me, guys. This is what I'm doing. And nobody like made sense of it because there's no way he's moving like that. I'd imagine every step of the way people were trying to rationalize, oh, there's a good reason. I don't know what the fuck. Why is he, I don't know, maybe he's like a distant uncle or something, a cousin. I don't fucking know. Like, maybe he just really wants to stay. Like, there's no way he's fondling, right? Right? I don't know, bro. What I'm saying doesn't even make any fucking sense. I just can't believe what I'm hearing, bro. I'm just trying to make sense of it, but I guess you just can't reason with insanity.
This is that you're adding into this crime that you're continuing to engage in. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with David, including summer weekends at his home in the hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Now, I'll tell you something that doesn't happen frequently. Managers, people on an artist team, the artist is not traveling alone, especially on flights. And you're going to tell me that they didn't know? Summer weekends, summer the most lit in the hills.
So there's, there's no way he was just keeping this up. There is no way, because again, a 13-year-old girl is in my presence. I'm looking at her. I'm hearing her speak. I'm hearing her mannerisms, the things that she's talking about. This is a young person. So the people around David knew, bro. Now maybe the closer people, I think the closer people, like the men, like there's no way they were just letting this shit slide and they had no idea, bro. They fucking knew, bro.
Where parties are being thrown constantly, and you're telling me that, oh man, no, just nobody knew? Yeah. Come on, dog. Let's be real here.
It's impossible.
Text exchanges between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptive. There are also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. So they're sending photos back and forth. Who knows if he's recording the activity. So this just gets more and more depraved. Keep in mind, police showed up to this guy's place. Authorities showed up to this guy's place when all he had was a yearbook photo. And they were like, yo, we're looking for this chick. She's missing. So at this point, anybody with a brain, even somebody that is a PDF, right? Yeah. They're like, okay, I gotta get the hell out of this situation. Just logically thinking, self-preservation.
That's you guys here. This is what I'm thinking. Like, he literally is just dumb. I can't even say that I'm happy that he's dumb, because at the end of the day, I would have hoped that he would have gotten caught without there having to be a loss of an innocent life, right? But even if you are a rational, sick person that wanted to commit heinous things, you would think like, oh, I don't want to get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like that. It was that even his thought process? It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been.
Type of situation. But this guy didn't do that. And you've got Plan B emergency contraceptive. So this guy's allegedly going raw in this little girl.
Oh my
her potentially
God.
getting pregnant. Just no care in the world for any type of consequence. Not even for
Please.
himself. Like, yeah, we get it. He has clearly no care in the world for her well-being. Or at least maybe in some twisted way he does. But objectively speaking, he doesn't care about her well-being. But even his own well-being and his reputation he doesn't care about either with how reckless he's moving. In November of 2024, David and the victim broke up. Although they continued
Don't even fucking use words like that. Like, bro, this was a one-sided, disgusting situation, bro. I know he's just reading it, but broke up? Come on, man.
Communicate, and text messages suggest they also continue to have sexual relations. Jesus. April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. And we're presumably saying, is this still the same cell phone that he bought for her, or is this another cell phone? The night prior, April 22nd, defendant and the victim engage in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. The messages reveal the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationships with other women. So they're saying David had other chicks. How? Are these chicks of age? That's what we really should be asking. As defendant led her to believe they had a future together. So he was selling an 11-year-old a dream. Jeez, man. She hasn't even gotten through all the Disney movies to have the Disney image and the Disney prince in her mind yet. And this guy's selling her dreams. Criminal. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with David to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was set to be released April 25th, so a couple days later. And this makes sense. 13-year-old girl, and she's like, oh, well, she feels like she got wronged. She's going to say, you know what? Screw you. Vengeance is coming.
Because I know, I mean, that sounds about right. You're a 13-year-old girl. You're making, one, you already know you know to a degree what you're doing is wrong. And that's the thing. At that age, you're impressionable. You can definitely be taken advantage of for sure. 100%. That's what happened. But you also, it's like, this is weird. This is not supposed to be happening. And I'm going to tell on you if you don't give me what I want. That sounds like the mindset of a 13-year-old girl, right? And then you got this grown-ass man who's a millionaire, freaking touring the world, doing what he's doing. It's making sense, bro. He's like, hell nah. No, you're not about to fuck up my emotion. I'm about to handle that. But he's a fucking idiot.
He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He already had multi-million dollars.
Yeah.
He also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable. At approximately 8:40, defendant, so David sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home.
Dumb. Bro, it's like, I'm sorry, y'all. I keep pausing. I just can't believe it. Yo, I'm about to off this chick. Let me send her an Uber that is going to track her movement from wherever she's at to where I'm at, and then she's going to go missing.
To his residence. So I'm guessing if they were able to get the records, they would have Uber records with David's credit card or his name, picking her up and dropping her off at his address because she's 11, 12 years old. I'm pretty sure she can't even have an Uber account unless it's her parents, and her parents weren't going to at 8:40 p.m. They're not going to let her go out, and she was home at this time. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at his home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. The people contend this was part of defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. This is a very interesting assertion. So 20 minutes later, so that means right when she got there, this guy just took the knife and just stabbed her. And they're saying the places that he stabbed her, she died a very, very painful death. So it makes sense that if he's thinking like, yo, where are you at? You didn't show up to my place. A brilliant idea, by the way. It's so comical how
fucking it's like it doesn't even it's this guy, really, now that we've been covering David for a while now and the whole situation and looking at his music videos and just how he's been obsessed with the death and stuff like this guy was living out his disgusting fantasy. But then when it came to this part of his little storyline in his head, it wasn't even like creative. It wasn't smart. It wasn't thought out. Like, this was the most idiotic thing. And it's really leading me to believe that David thought he was going to get away with this. David thought that me sending these little weak ass text messages after I just fucking paid for her Uber with all the text message threads and evidence right there. Yeah, this is going to make sense. All I'm going to do is say, hey, why haven't you arrived at my crib? And that was going to be enough for me to just get away. Like, she never showed up. I don't know. Bro, watch that. Bro, I hope this nigga gets... I need to watch what I say because at the end of the day, YouTube still YouTube TOS. But boy, I hope they feel you and where you going, boy. I hope.
Somebody this young, not her, him, thinks like, okay, hold on, I'm going to pull one over on the dozens of people that are detectives that are going to be investigating this. Like, you're a goofy if you think you're going to pull something off like this on people that are smarter than you and that have studied hundreds of murders. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. At no time did he call law enforcement or take her to an emergency room to attempt to save her life. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, so this is her own family was trying to find where she was.
Yeah.
Defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy evidence. At approximately 11:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, which is the same night, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone, asking where she was. So again, an hour later, he's trying to, quote-unquote, figure out where she was. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense within a very short timeline after the victim's vicious murder. Now, if they don't have DNA evidence of anything here, his defense is probably going to try to go for the angle of, no, he sent her the Uber. Maybe she got into an argument with him via text, and she showed up and did...
The thing that just pokes a bunch of holes in all of this, it's like, dude, she was fucking 12. Why were you sending her an Uber, period? Why were y'all in contact? You're not related. You, like, what? Why did you send her an Uber? Why did you have contact with this fucking 12-year-old in any way, shape, or form, period? Like, this case is, it's pretty much, there's no way he can beat this. There's literally no sensible thing that he can say. All the motive is there. Everything is there. Why did you even have a relationship with this woman in the first place? Can't even say woman. This little girl.
Didn't want to show up at his house. So she went down the block or something like that, and someone else killed her. Someone else is randomly going to kill a young girl like that in that neighborhood. That's unlikely. If it was a grown man, yeah, he's likely to get robbed for something because people know that people got bread in the Hollywood Hills. But it would be a shooting. It wouldn't be a stabbing. And they would have something that could be taken from them, like expensive jewelry. She didn't have that. The defendants drove his Tesla north to San Marcos Pass Road. He returned home early the following morning on April 24, 2025, this is crazy. So this guy goes to a radio interview that same day. This is probably why the managers didn't really pay attention to what he was doing or tried to look the other way, because this guy was going to show up to the things that he had to show up to for his career. Most artists, they'll show up late if they were a little sick, if they smoked a little bit too much. This guy caught a body and he's trying to cover it up, and he's still showing up to this stuff. Insanity. And then it says he sent 2 additional texts to the victim's phone that day, which obviously went unanswered. And then after April 26th, he never attempted to contact her again, which does come across a bit weird, because if you never saw her and she never showed up, wouldn't you be very, very concerned? And you would constantly be hitting her up and trying to get...
He's literally a moron, dude. Like, again, I keep saying this. I keep literally regurgitating the same thing over and over again. I'm so sorry, y'all. But I'm literally dumbfounded by the level of stupidity that this young girl has lost her life to. Wow.
Back into contact with her instead of never trying to hit up that phone again. Tellingly, defendant subsequently purchased tools to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. On April 24th, which is the day after the killing, he ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered to his home from Postmates. So this guy...
You can't make this, bro.
Postmated a shovel to his address. He didn't postmate it to some other random address and then just go pick it up there and walk it to his crib.
Oh my God.
He postmated it to his address. Brilliant. But it's like, yo, come on. It's a shovel. Everybody needs a shovel, right? Okay.
What do you get? Fucking chainsaw and tape and rope and fucking he did the whole shebang, I bet. Watch this. It's gotta be.
May 1st, so he thought to space it out too.
Yeah, he thought to space it out. Crazy. This is so smart, David.
This is already 8 days that the body's been decaying. On May 1st, and where has he had the body for 8 days? So 8 days.
He ordered 2 chainsaws. I'm sorry for I'm not trying to be inappropriate. Use sound effects here, bro. But I can't make this. He ordered 2 chainsaws to his house. I am 29 years old, chat. I've been on this earth for 29 years. My birthday is May 3rd. It's coming up this Sunday. At the time of recording this video, it is April 30th. I have never... I don't even own a chainsaw, but I have never Ubered a chainsaw to my house. Much less 2. I don't even, I guess somebody in the world needs a fucking chainsaw, right? I guess people nowadays, maybe you live a certain area, you need to go get a chainsaw. But I would imagine I'd just drive to the Home Depot and just pick up the fucking chainsaw myself if I actually need a chainsaw. I'd probably think to myself, maybe there's a chainsaw rental service, because what is the practicality of me ever needing a chainsaw multiple times in my life? I'd rather just rent the chainsaw and return it, because I don't need a fucking chainsaw. This nigga ordered 2 to his crib. This nigga might actually be the dumbest. It's just blowing my mind that the craziest, most disgusting situation that has happened probably in the past 10 years. Bro, this guy's a superstar, megastar, touring, millions, billions of streams, millions of dollars. Collaborated with some of the biggest artists. It's like shit like this you can't make up. You don't even see stuff like this in movies. You wouldn't even put this in a movie, because it'd be like, no, that's so unrealistic. Nobody would be this dumb. You wouldn't even watch this movie, because it'd be like, is this nigga the dumbest murderer of all time? I'm sorry, y'all. I really am not trying to be funny or make light of it, but I can't believe what I'm seeing and hearing.
People are coming in and out of this house, and they haven't noticed a body or smelt a body. On May 1st, defendant ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. 4 days later, defendant ordered and Amazon delivered a body bag, heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. And he made these purchases under the fake name Victoria Mendez. So right now, we're in a 2-week span. This guy's getting chainsaws. Nobody's wondering, yo, what's the chainsaws for? What is he telling them? Oh, it's for a music video? And that would be kind of believable, to be fair. But he's ordering these to his address, to his home address where he's staying, which is just goofy. On May 8th, he returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30. So I'm guessing that's where he probably put the body, near Santa Barbara County. He returned to the area again on May 31st. So this is a month, well over a month after she died. This is an isolated site off of SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January of 2026. Additionally, on January is after that they found the body initially from the Tesla, because the Tesla was in September of 2025. Additionally, on July 7, 2025, he ordered and Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. July 7th. So this is...
Are y'all hearing this?
This is over 2 months after he allegedly killed her. He's ordering a burn cage. So where is he storing all of this? Is he putting the stuff in a freezer? Defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into the blue inflatable pool, so this guy inflates a pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor. Well, he already stabbed her. So where's the blood going? Yeah, he was probably scrubbing it with that weird TikTok that he made. Defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs.
We did see that.
Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the medical examiner. The fragments were analyzed by LAPD Forensic Science Department, and he was able to make a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool purchased by him on May 2025. So this guy might be beyond cooked. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky fingers because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. If you guys recall, they had matching tattoos that said shh, which is just harrowing. And then one of the finger tattoos said David on it. And that's why he cut off the finger. Which, why would you even think there were already photos of her with the David tattoo on her finger online. And if they find her body, what is he holding onto the fingers
I've said enough.
for?
I can't. There's nothing more for me to say.
When I first found out about this, I was like, yo, is this some weird sicko like murder fetish where you have to keep something from the victim? But it makes sense that he would remove evidence. But if they find it, they're just going to discover who she is, what her identity is, and then find all the information online anyway. You brought all this online. The photos are online. We've seen them.
You streamed with her, and you're laughing and giggling when she's literally on a live stream. I've shown the clip many a times. He's literally sitting next to her on a live stream, and she makes a joke and is like, yeah, just as weird like you fondling children or something along the lines of that, verbatim. And they start laughing. He goes, ha ha, delete this VOD, delete all the evidence.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Mwah, mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big fan. Inspire me. Yo, thank you, Mitochondria. Appreciate you.
I gotta stop with him if you even... We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
Into a garbage bag, which he deposited into his front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For weeks or months, he left the body to decompose inside his Tesla. This is what's so weird about this dude. Like 2 months, I'm guessing he's like trying to cover up this murder whilst doing a rollout for an album. Because he's in different cities. This is happening over the span of 2.5 months. He's ordering all of the stuff over the span of 10 days. And he's ordering it to his home address. And then once he cuts the body up, he throws it in the trunk of his Tesla. So they're saying that this guy was goofy enough to do all of this on a Tesla. So it says he lied to friends, business associates, and others who noticed a strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. This is the weird part. So people are noticing that, yo, what's this smell, dog? And what is the lie that he's going to tell? Because the first thing that I would think is like, yo, this smells weird. This guy, what happened to the girl? Because my assumption and my opinion is that they knew that the chick was nowhere near David's age range.
Yeah, had to.
In that regard, I'm thinking if I'm anywhere close to David, even if I'm an acquaintance, like I know somebody that knows him, I'm just getting the hell out of there. I'm like, yo, I'm not being around this. I don't even want to know what's going on. And I think that's what happened with a lot of people. But the problem is if you're really close to him and you knew this was going on and you're smelling it now.
You're damn near guilty too, bro. You know, I'm not going to slap you didn't pull the knife or pull the trigger or whatever. But like, bro, come on, man. Dumb people really need to be dealt with as well because there ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't give a fuck how much money, how much motion. I don't care what's going on, bro. You were around David and you were a half decent human being. You ain't got to be a full decent human being. You a half decent human being. You start putting two to two together. It's like, this girl ain't of age. That girl went missing and now we got weird smells in the house. And you being mad weird and you ordering chainsaws and body bags and shit. Nigga. 2 + 2's gonna start equaling 4 again.
And you're like, yo, what's that smell in your car? You've got to get rid of that. What is he going to lie about? Oh, nah, it's just some eggs in there. Okay, let's clean it out.
Yeah.
You got to do something about it. I'm not saying that they should automatically assume it's a body because that's a lot to ask. Or that's just a lot to jump to. You got to think they see the guy.
Oh, but again, chainsaw, body bag. What, bro, why did you order a body bag?
They're like, nah, no way he's capable of doing that. So they're not going to.
That's what I said earlier in the video, though. It's like, it's almost so stupid that nobody would have the audacity to move like that. And that's the only grace I can give anybody around there. It's just like, it's just you start lying to yourself. You seeing it happen right in front of your face. But you're just like, nah, there's literally no way that somebody I'm associated with is moving like this. But what really negates that though, man, is, bro, Celeste was so young. Like, bro, if she was like 16, 17, you know, hugging the cuffs of being a young adult, it's like, okay, I could see where maybe the lines could have been blurred, where you just genuinely didn't know her age. But bro, like, I just am not buying the 12, 11, 13. I'm not buying that nobody was looking at this girl and thinking that she was of age, bro. I'm not buying that. You're not selling me that one.
Assume it's a body, but you got to get rid of the smell somehow or look into it. But before leaving the concert tour at the end of July, he parked his Tesla on the street around the corner from his home. So still, the body hasn't been disposed of. And it's continuing to stink up. So people already smelt it, and it's only going to get worse in the summer. Yeah. So LAPD served the warrant on September 17th. And inside the garage, they discovered evidence consistent with the dismemberment of the body, which contained multiple linear cuts. Several biological samples, which tested positive for blood, were collected within the garage. So he thought, oh, you know, let me do it in the pool so the blood doesn't show up there. Well, they found blood in the garage anyway. Like I said, he stabbed her outside.
Yeah.
DNA analysis determined that various samples matched the unique genetic profile. And on December 9th, the medical examiner ruled it a homicide. And on January 17th, her passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off.
So, you know, we were all in the background wondering why they were taking so long, but they've been had the evidence to cook this nigga. I guess it got to a point where it's like, how much evidence can we find? He's already cooked. He's already packed up. We already have everything we need. But let's, this is so disgusting. We are going to hit this nigga over the head. So fine, let him sit down for months and months and months. This guy really thinks he's about to get away with it. No, we are going to scrub every last bit of evidence. We're going scorched earth on this nigga. And we didn't get it at the time. Even me, I'll admit, I was looking like, bro, why is this arrest taking so long? But with these results now, I think I'm starting to kind of get it. Like, okay, they wanted to bury him under the dirt of the jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
SR 154. So I'm guessing that her passport card had fell out when he was driving her body up one of these times to that Santa Barbara County, or when he was, I'm guessing he left the body there a couple of times and then came back. And then they just give a bunch of evidence. Now they talk about the evidence that they have. One of the really interesting pieces of evidence is the description of photographs depicting the victim naked. So there's photos of the victim naked, as well as while she was engaged with defendant in activity when she was 13. So this guy's got CP on the phone too. Keep in mind, once again, the police visited him before he ever had CP, that we know of, that he had CP before that any of this happened. And he had the opportunity to pull out of this. They need to give this guy worse than the electric chair. They need to give him one of those old torture methods.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, again, I don't want to say too much on YouTube TOS, but on some shit, this might be one of them exceptions universally across the board. And this nigga need to get, like, we need to go back middle age, start hitting them stones at his ass, bro. Like, bruh. And then, like, stop right before he go. Because we want him to stay awake so we can do it again tomorrow. Like, bruh. YouTube, I'm sorry, bruh. I'm sorry. I mean, I hope that's not too crazy, bruh. But fuck. Are we not all thinking the same thing?
As this evidence constitutes CSAM, which is child SAM, the photographs themselves will not be presented. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed, the CSAM is proof of their ongoing relationship while the victim was 13 and 14. Numerous text messages between the defendant and victim evidencing their relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B. And one of the messages that they said was, all we do is have sex and just hang out. Man, I want more than that for myself. And those were obtained from David's iCloud. And
wow.
This is kind of weird because it's like, all they're doing is engaging in that activity and hanging out. Like, what does hanging out constitute? Does she want him to take her out on like a public, like this guy was taking her on tour? Like, what is it? I'm not trying to say like, what more did she want? But I really don't get that. That's like very vague. I think they could have given us a little bit more text. What is it exactly that she wanted? Because clearly this could never be public, but maybe she didn't know that. And it was.
She did know that, though. I just showed you guys the live stream. She's on the live stream being like making jokes like any 12-year-old, 13-year-old would. Like, they don't understand the severity of how crazy it is, but they do understand it's wrong, though. So, they're joking, and she's joking and laughing. Bro.
It's as public as you can get. Anyway. Defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from the iPhone and Tesla, which demonstrate the activity from April 22nd to 24th, including a trip to Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. So they've got surveillance video of, and they're saying again that this is David driving the Tesla on July 29th. And then DNA evidence from blood stains collected from his garage, which match hers. And then Amazon purchases and deliveries to his home. And this is probably if they arrested that Neo guy, he was probably telling them this. He's like, yeah, I saw those packages. Those weren't in my name. I think that's what they wanted to know because that guy Neo seemed like he lived with him, which he had to do some ratting. If you're living when this is going on, you got to be telling because you know everything that happened. Maybe not the murder, which I highly doubt, but you know what was going on between them two. And then Uber records showing the transaction, like I said earlier, where he ordered the Uber to pick up the victim from her Elsinore home and drive him to his place. And then, of course, they're just talking about the proof of his earnings. But this is just to show that, oh, hey, the motive. The motive is that he wanted to protect his career, and that's why he killed her. And then text message exchanges on April 22nd and 23rd where she threatened to expose him and destroy his career. And this is just the beginning. When they start showing this evidence, it's about to be ridiculous. Like, we saw photos here, too, and we got photos of the packages that were being delivered to his home under the name Victoria Mendez. It's like, dude, who is Victoria Mendez? It's just some random name that's just gonna send it to
but it's to your crib. Like, bro, this
to your address.
Moron.
Like, this guy twisted, depraved. You see some moments where you think like, okay, this guy's cunning, and then you're like, no, he's not even cunning. He's an idiot. Yeah. It's almost like somebody that grew up on TikTok watching like murder mysteries, and he's like, okay, this is how I get away with it. But we're gonna stay plugged into this as much as we can.
Shout out to Hellier Sin, man. Great videos, providing all that information. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Again, I'm gonna keep providing it to y'all, spreading more awareness to the situation. But holy shit, man. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. My name's Berto. Where you at, Berto? Join the Where You At family so you never miss a live stream reaction. I'll see you on the next one. I'm gone.